Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Jensen with the Wynn Health Institute in Aspen Diagnosis and Decompression, with a convenient location on 3rd and Main, 400 West Main, specializing in chiropractic sports medicine with great massage therapists, acupuncture, and gyrotonic therapy. We feature state-of-the-art technology like spinal decompression, high-resolution breast thermography, and hyperbaric oxygen. You can also stop by to test your antioxidant level or your vascular score. Free lectures at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, 970-279-4099 or aspendx.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Lankering. I'd like to welcome you back to another program of Healthy Lifestyles. I'm a bioenergetic chiropractor. I've had my practice in the Valley here for 29 years. And bioenergetics, people go, what's bioenergetic chiropractor? Well, bio is life. Energetic is energy. So it's all about life energy. And really what I work with are the different types of stressors that interfere with our life energy flow. We're living in a quagmire of toxins as far as chemicals are concerned, but also electromagnetic radiation, emotions. And there's a lot of different stressors that affect that. So a lot of the work that I deal with looks at the whole person and addresses these different stresses. Not that we get rid of them, but we help our bodies to manage them and live better in our world that we're living in. It's a pretty stressful world, but it's a beautiful world. It's a wonderful world. And so my intention and my purpose is to give you some information, give you some tools that can help improve the quality of your life and also the quality of your health for yourself, your friends, your family, your loved ones. And so hopefully give you some information today. As you know, I like to thank Wynn Health Institute for making these programs possible, as well as GrassRoots TV. And I like to start off with some different articles. A lot of my articles I get from Mercola.com. I think he has some great information. Dr. McCullough and I are on the same wavelength, same page as far as fluoridation. First article I have here is more communities succeed in eliminating water fluoridation while the chemical industry raises the stakes. And so fluoride is a toxic substance that accumulates in your tissues over time. So every time you brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste or drink fluoride water, it's accumulating. It produces, wreaks havoc with enzymes, produces a number of serious adverse health effects, including neurological and endocrine dysfunction. Well, if those two areas of your body are in dysfunction, you can bet the rest of your body is also being affected by it. But what's happening recently, even those severely outspent by fluoride proponents, citizens in Wichita, Kansas, and Portland, Oregon voted no on water fluoridation. Connecticut, South Carolina, and Minnesota are looking at lifting mandatory fluoridation rulings, and there are now 15 regional councils in Queensland, Australia that are either stopping fluoridation or refusing to start. And recently, Hamilton, New Zealand also recently voted to stop water fluoridation. I'm going to say this again, that it's the responsibility of the citizens of Aspen. Sometimes we want to point to the city council and blame so forth and somebody, but it's up to us to take responsibility. We like to rest on our laurels of having this great reputation of a healthy, mindful, pure, all those other things as far as community, but yet we allow to put one of the deadliest toxins in the world in our clean river waters and so forth. So it's really up to the citizens to rally, to take responsibility for this and get fluoride out. It's also a matter of choice, freedom of choice. And no group should have the right, as far as I'm concerned, to be able to put stuff in our waters. Another article here is attacks on health reporters and their readers are escalating. And so the new UNICEF report reveals that the organization is tracking the rise of online anti-vaccination sentiments in Central and Eastern Europe and has identified the most important anti-vaccine influencers on the web. And so instead of addressing the evidence of potential harm of vaccines, UNICEF is entering into ever-deepening partnerships with vaccine company giants like Merck and GlaxoSmithKline, who just had a huge fine against them. And so UNICEF devises public relations schemes to convince you to ignore any science that raise safety questions. So again, you know, they're going after the people trying to get out information that make you think, that make you question. And So just thoughts for there. Mounting research raises the red flag for the universal vaccine, flu vaccine. Studies show that influenza vaccine is ineffective in the elderly and very young, and recent studies suggest that vaccinating against one strain of influenza may actually increase the risk of being infected with a related but different influenza strain. And in 2009, researchers also noticed that people who had gotten a flu shot the previous year were more likely to succumb to the novel H1N1 strain compared to those who had not received a flu shot the previous year. Infants born to mothers who receive measles, mumps, rubella vaccine lose their passively acquired immunity from their mothers 2 months sooner than those born with that. So UNICEF, starting to get into cahoots with the pharmaceutical company. However, next article, beat back cold and flus with garlic. So certainly ways that you can work with nutrition, including garlic. And I was recently informed by my guest today that one of the best things you can do with garlic before you just throw it in the pan and start cooking it is when you cut it to allow the air to get to it, and that enhances the capacity and the functions of the garlic to even improve your immune system more. Broccoli-based medicine, a potent tool against osteoarthritis and cancer. And one other thing, report finds probably carcinogenic chemicals in all municipal water samples tested. So we're living in a quagmire of toxins. Some of the work that I do using blood tests and hair analysis to find out what's going on as far as your body is concerned, what heavy metals are in there, and certainly using effective methods and techniques to get them out, and then we can measure down the road as we continue along with the process how we're progressing. So just some information. There's a lot of things going on, and just hopefully gives you some information. So we could go on and on with that, but I'm excited about my guest today joining me again. Had such a wonderful time with him the last time he was here, and I think such powerful information. And so my guest today is John Bruna. So John, from the Way of Compassion Foundation. I keep wanting to say center. So maybe we're all centered as we, with the compassion and so forth. A lot of what you work with is the art of mindfulness, right? So explain what's the art of mindfulness? I think people hear that, but you use it in a very powerful way, and that's really a lot of the work that you do, right?
Yes, and as you're correct, it is the sort of cornerstone of the tools that we provide people with the Way of Compassion. Mindfulness, it's a buzzword now, right. Mindfulness in education, mindfulness is mindful living. And over the last 50 years, it has really started to really grow to a point where we now have universities and institutions of higher learning. Statistics have shown the benefits of mindfulness in so many different ways. And one of the things that is often lacking, I think, in the definition, and I'm just going to give you sort of the generic definition of mindfulness that people use, is present moment awareness. Present moment awareness. We're here, we're in this moment. My mind's not worrying about tomorrow or what I just didn't do or the fact that I didn't silence my phone before we started the show. My mind is here. So I'm in this moment. That's one part.
Being in the now type of situation.
Being now, being present. I'm listening to you, I see you.
Right.
And I'm here and I'm listening, present, in a non-judgmental way. Okay, and that's the interesting part, in a non-judgmental way. It means that I'm not projecting a lot of judgment about, well, this show's going to be this way, this show's going to be that way, or, we often project into the moments of our life. We see someone with a bumper sticker that, we don't like. We already project, this person's an idiot, or this. Right. I don't even know the person.
Right.
All I know
could be driving your mother's car or something like that.
We have no idea. Okay. But we fill our life with, we just fill in, we project, and then things happen and we react. And without ever even, first off, being present, most of the time we're not here, right? How many times, see if this sounds familiar with anybody out there. I don't know where my car keys are. Where was that piece of paper? I had it just a minute ago. Right. What was your name? What were we just talking about?
Yeah.
We think we forgot where we put the car keys. We think we forgot where we put the piece of paper. We weren't there when we put it down. We weren't there when we put the car. Our mind was somewhere else.
Right. I mean, a lot of times, people will be talking with someone and they've got chatter, or they're thinking about what they're going to be saying, they heard someone say something, and then they're going to project, or they're already thinking about what they're going to say, as opposed to being there and really connecting with the person and taking in what that person is saying.
Yeah,
So,
and we're all guilty of that, right? That whole projecting onto that. As a matter of fact, there's a great TED Talk by a guy named John Francis. He went silent for 17 years, I believe.
Wow.
No, 22 years. No, okay, he walked for 22 years and he was silent for 17. And in that time, he actually got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a PhD, and taught courses without speaking. Incredible. And
so he didn't just sit up on a hill somewhere.
No, he lived life, he learned, and he was. It's a great TED Talk, but one of the reasons he started being silent was because he found the value in listening. He found that he had stopped listening, that he was already projecting what the person was going to say and responding, and thinking about that beforehand. And he found he learned so much more by listening. An incredible journey.
So amazing with that, though. I mean, with that. So what would it mean then to be mindful? I mean, is that what you're talking about?
So we started with first being here. Second, not projecting. I don't know if this moment's going to be, good, bad. Non-judgment. This is not a good person, bad person. We often, somebody comes in the door, we immediately, what they're wearing, how they're going to be, I've already summed them up, and they haven't even said a word. So most of the modern day definition is present moment awareness in a non-judgmental way. Just not resisting the moment, being open to the moment, not projecting how things are going to turn out, and just being present and going with it. And that's really good. It's very important. And just those 2 points produce incredible amount of research for overall health, reduce stress, the mindfulness-based stress reduction that's so famous now, and all that is really based on learning to be present and learning how to not judge a moment. Yeah. But it's missing its key component. And in mindfulness, at its core, is exactly this. Mindfulness, when it arises, is a quote out of an old Dharma text, when it arises, traces beneficial tendencies and unbeneficial tendencies. Thus, one who's practicing mindfulness increases beneficial tendencies in their life and decreases non-beneficial tendencies. Wow. So discernment is critical. We're not judging things as good or bad, but we are discerning what's healthy and what's not healthy. What's a good way to respond? What's a way to respond to this situation as it is in a way that's going to be beneficial to myself and others?
Wow. Okay. So there's a combination of things going on. But again, it's the power of being in the moment type of situation. And that was a lot. I mean, I was like, wow. It was.
Yeah, there's a lot
to that.
There's a lot to unpack. But first, we have to be here. And our problem is most of our life we're not even present for. The busyness. We wake up, we got the coffee going, the list of things to do. People don't know where their car keys are. We're running out. Some people go to their car 2 or 3 times because they left something in the house. And we're driving, and we don't even know how we got to work. We're not even present in most of our life. That's the sad truth. So number 1 is first become present.
So is that a conscious choice then?
Well,
is that, because what you were talking about makes me think, there's conscious and subconscious, and you have the subconscious, which is so much more powerful than the conscious. And that subconscious takes control and just gets us going to work, and we don't even realize that we're sitting at work and, forgot about brushing our teeth type of thing.
Yeah.
Or forgot that we did brush our teeth.
Yeah. We weren't even there when we brushed them.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And so I'll use a different wording as sort of the conventional mind. We have this busy mind, and this mind it hijacks our life. It's thinking thoughts. It's always going. It's got stuff going on all the time. As a matter of fact, one of my teachers out in Boston has a great line. He says, so you can decide, you can tell your mind, I'm going to be silent. And your mind will say, good, let's talk about it.
Well, and there is that challenge, right? But that's really the challenge of this mindfulness.
Right.
Because you can say, I want to be mindful, but okay, so your other mind is saying, well, let's talk about it.
Right, let's talk about
Right.
that.
So
How do we do that? So we
Yeah.
train the mind. So
Okay.
mind training, and that's where meditation comes in. So meditation is the tool to start training the mind to attend to that which I choose to attend to. You know, at our deepest level, it's kind of interesting, and I'll just a quick analogy. I taught inner city high schools, I've worked with gang kids, I've worked with all types of populations and counseling and so forth. And I've lived at every socioeconomic level there is, from under a bridge to a Buddhist monastery to a corporate manager to an auto mechanic. I've lived at these things, so I've found some pretty universal truths. And I found that I've never met the person who can't make a list of 5 things they know they can do to improve their life.
Right.
We can make the list, 5 things to do. Next question, why don't you do the list? What is it that prevents us from doing the things that are healthy in our life? And that is the journey of living a meaningful life, is to remove that obstacles, our habits, our tendencies, the unhealthy ones that are preventing us from doing the things that we know will make our life good. And that's where training the mind, having some free will in our life. The busyness of the mind is actually taking us away from our free will. We can sit down and make the list. This is how I would like to live my life. And then I go do this.
Right. So you mentioned, though, that that's the journey then of life, which kind of what I hear then is that, you know, the journey is not one step. I mean, the journey just doesn't happen. But yes, we have these things we want to be doing, we know we should be doing, but we do things that we either sabotage ourselves with or find other, or get distracted or
habituate it.
Right, and habituate it. So there's the journey then that we're on.
So that brings us back to now we need to train an unwieldy mind. And this unwieldy mind, it's got habits and tendencies and qualities. And so now I want to bring it and start training it to start having some attention in my own life. And so that's where meditation comes in. And so a big piece of any mindfulness training is meditation. And meditation, I want to kind of dispel a bunch of myths about. You know, you don't have to go climb a high mountain, sit full lotus position, and disappear for 3 years. Meditation, we can start in very short, very doable things in the regular chair. When I first started meditating, it was 10 minutes a day. Something you do 10 minutes a day, every day, will have the cumulative effect, much like the fluoride you were talking about, unfortunately, in that case.
But this is a better...
Yeah, this is a healthy, beneficial cumulative effect.
Okay,
We start training the mind a breath at a time, and 10 minutes a day can build up. I started at 10, eventually got to 15, and so forth, and built on. It ultimately led me to being a Buddhist monk. But back when I sat for 10 minutes, it felt like an eternity. So training the mind, and one of the most important useful tools is mindfulness of breath. Very common, basic, solid meditation. It's really good for your health. It is incredible for your health. It just releases all kinds of blocked prana and different things to just be in relaxed state of mind and breathing without a busy mind. Incredible health. So we want to train the mind, and I would always recommend mindfulness of breath first. And it's just as simple as sitting up straight in a chair. I'm in a chair, I'm sitting up straight, and I like to have my tongue touch the roof of the mouth, helps me let the saliva go down, and just start becoming aware of each breath as it enters and exits my body. I want my body relaxed.
Through the nose, through the mouth?
Nose is ideal. Tongue touching roof of the mouth, breath coming through the nostril, and just being aware of the sensations of breath. And just doing that for a little while. You start 5 minutes a day, you can increase that out. And you actually, believe it or not, one of the big mysteries, secrets of life, is you're actually breathing 24 hours a day. Most people aren't aware of it, but we are. And what that does is it brings us into where I am telling my mind to go here. When you start, your mind will want to talk about it. And that's fine. It's no big deal. You're not doing it wrong. The mind does that. You catch it, you relax, you bring the mind back.
Don't
mind
judge
wanders,
yourself on
don't
that.
judge. No, mind's going to do this. That's what it does.
Right.
The mind wanders 1,000 times in 10 minutes. You bring it back 1,001. And now you're training the mind. One mindful breath, you are doing it right. Period.
So that takes a lot of pressure off of people.
Yeah.
To
you
be
wanna let
able
go
to
of
do
that.
this, right? So it's not, do you meditate or don't you meditate? Here's how you can meditate
Right.
easily and build upon that.
A breath at a time. One mindful breath, you're doing it right.
Wow.
And pretty soon there'll be 2. Pretty soon there'll be 3. And if you do it consistently, you start now, my mind's starting to go where I'm placing it. Now this is going to help you if you're reading a book. This is going to help you if you're studying in school. This is going to help you with your grandkids. This is going to help you in your profession. Because now you can actually expand your attention. And you're going to remember people's names because you were there when you met them. You're going to, the interesting thing is mindfulness, what we call sati in Sanskrit, is translated as mindfulness, is really related to a state of non-forgetfulness.
Wow.
Attention, non-forgetfulness. And it's not just this moment. Because I'm aware of this moment, I remember it from when it was yesterday. I remember what I did yesterday. Because I'm aware in this moment and I'm making plans for the future, prospective memory, that increases. I know I have an appointment at 4 o'clock because I was there when I made the appointment. So it's not just being in this moment, being present. I'm going to remember past moments. I'm going to remember future moments. And my overall attention span increases.
So what we're talking about is the foundation for a mindful life then.
Right.
All right. So as you're going, you're able to affect different aspects of your life. You remember where your car keys are. You remember you have an appointment. You remember you have this to do because you're in the moment when you're making those choices or discerning. Discerning, I thought, was interesting.
Right, so we hadn't got to that. So first, now we're here. Now that I'm here, I want to start seeing things clearly. And I want to be able to respond to things in healthy ways. So I need to learn a couple things, like the difference between emotions and me, for one. A lot of people think, I'm really happy, I'm really annoyed, I'm really sad. And you're none of those things. Happiness will come and go, you'll still be here. Annoyed will come and go, you'll still be here.
Right.
Just understand that our range of emotions and stuff are temporary and permanent states of mind that will come and go.
Right.
What's important in life then is how do I respond to these events that have triggered an emotion in a healthy way? Understanding that when we're in an emotion, we're fused with it. I identify with that emotion. It creates a lot of trouble in my life. That's just straight psychology. Emotions entangle us and we can't see clearly. So, for example, when your friend tells you and needs some advice, it's really easy to give advice. Oh, you should stop doing that. What are you doing with that guy anyway, It's clear because I'm not emotionally involved. In our own life, we become emotionally involved. We can't see clearly.
Right.
So mindfulness starts when you're mindful. You can start to observe and discern that feelings, thoughts, emotions, sensations in my body will come and go. But I have this observing part of me, this conscious part of me, that is now discerning and seeing what are healthy and unhealthy responses. It's an observer of these things. And training that to see clearly and wisely then gives a gap of time between an emotion being triggered, where I react, to being aware an emotion is arising, seeing a situation beyond the emotion, and what's a healthy way to respond to this. And that's the real gift of mindfulness in that sense.
Wow. And something that jumped out at me there is, the words I am are probably as powerful, if not some of the most powerful words that we speak. So I am happy, as long as you're saying that with mindfulness and consciousness, as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm happy. How are you doing? Oh, I'm happy. But the power of the words that we use, well, how are you doing? Well, I'm sad. Well, I'm this. I am this, People are not even mindful about the words that they're choosing a lot of the times.
Right.
Because those words, or even the questions we're asking, people aren't aware of, and how powerful those words and questions can be. So you start bringing this all together.
Right, and you see how it limits us as individuals too. Like for example, I'm sure you work in the field as in being a physician. Just the idea, have you met people that were allergic to something and then they stopped being allergic to something?
Right.
Right.
Sure.
Well, I'm allergic to cats, or I'm allergic to strawberries. Well, that allergy can change, but if I keep saying I'm allergic to it, guess what? I'm always going to be allergic to it.
Right.
I'm limited, or I'm not good with language. Guess what? You won't be good at language.
Yeah, I'm not good in whatever, fill
Yeah.
in the blank, right?
Yeah, and most of the decisions, just developmentally, that we've learned about ourselves, most of the personality traits, I'm funny, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm that, my personality traits are developed before we're 7 years old.
Right.
We're not a very good judge back then.
Mm-hmm. Well, and some of the work that I do ties in with the development of the brain and the subconscious. At that time in our lives, the brain developmentally that's the part of the brain that's forming. Let me ask you here, because we're into our last moments. First of all, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, the Way of Compassion Foundation has a website called wayofcompassion.org. And we're a nonprofit organization. We provide retreats, workshops, trainings, and all of them are done on a free will offering basis. I live here in Carbondale. We actually have weekly Dharma talks and meditations at the 3rd Street Center there.
And when are those?
Those are on Wednesday nights at 5:30.
At the PAC 3.
Yeah,
down
3rd Street Center.
3rd Street Center.
Where the
Okay.
other GrassRoots station is.
Right. We're working on getting that one going, I believe. So you have those, so people can come in and I'm going to say experience it, but not only that, but surround themselves with other mindful people. And I think that there's that collective consciousness, if you will, of people, and we start, get in that energy, right?
Right, you're creating an environment that's supportive of the idea of a lot of potential in our life.
Yeah.
And starting to see things clearly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things too is that I think one of the powers, because my understanding, what we've spoken about before, is you've come from a very difficult, I'm going to say opposite way, I mean challenging, living under a bridge. I think you mentioned different substances or violence and different, and you've changed your life.
Right.
So for people who are out there wondering where they can go, maybe they don't have the money, maybe they don't have the wherewithal, or they want to go to counseling or something. Here's another option for people to take responsibility for their own lives. Join you in this way of compassion here, that people could really make a powerful change in their lives then, right?
Yeah, we certainly hope so. And just the word compassion is really the desire to remove suffering from the world, yourself and others.
Right.
So yeah.
Because we are all connected with
Yeah,
it.
and how can we remove suffering and find some meaningful happiness in our life?
Wow. Well, so I just think that it's so wonderful. And again, we're even down to short story. How'd you get here in the valley, though?
I met a girl.
Oh, really? Okay.
I met a girl, a wonderful woman, Laura Bartels, here in the valley.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So, well, again, welcome, and so excited to have you here, and thanks for sharing your information, and I hope people will do that. So, my guest today has been John Bruna, and my name is Dr. Tom Lankering. You've been watching Healthy Lifestyles. Thanks, and go out and make it a great day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Jensen with the Wynn Health Institute and Aspen Diagnosis and Decompression, with a convenient location on 3rd and Main, 400 West Main, specializing in chiropractic sports medicine with great massage therapists, acupuncture, and gyrotonic therapy. We feature state-of-the-art technology like spinal decompression, high-resolution breast thermography, and hyperbaric oxygen. You can also stop by to test your antioxidant level or your vascular score. Free lectures at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, 970-279-4099 or aspendx.com.